Così, dopo 10 anni viene su Up. Continua la tradizione dei titoli corti, come As, So. Che cosa significa per te giocare con le parole?
Well, initially I didn't want titles because I just liked the pictures on the records, and that's how I remembered my record collection. And then in America, because there was confusion, they wouldn't release it without a title, so I gave one record a title. And then I thought I'd do these sort of anti-titles, so just 2 letters. The advantage of 2 letters is you can make them bigger than someone else who has 20 letters. And it becomes just a simple graphic form, so that was the reason.
Chiedevo se non ci fosse una ragione musicale connessa ai titoli corti. Cioè, quando il titolo è corto mi aspetto qualcosa di pop, mentre quando il titolo è più lungo penso ad un lavoro più sperimentale, più radicale. La vedo così?
I hadn't thought about that, but maybe it's like that. I mean, for me, I just started doing these 2 letters, and so now a few other people do it as well, but I think with 2 letters you can still make a few changes.
Perché sai, a me suona come una sintesi. È come mettere molti contenuti in qualche cosa di piccolo. Infatti le canzoni sono una cosa simile. 3 minuti che contengono parecchie informazioni. Come le poesie ermetiche. Poche parole per esprimere concetti molto profondi. Molte cose in un piccolo barattolo chiuso. Tu sei attratto dall'idea di sintesi?
I think so, yeah. When you stick stuff together, for instance, with pictures and music, to me that's important. When you get a great film that has really some great music for the different scenes, then I think that's a powerful medium. And that when I was at college, I had a place at film school, and it was a toss-up for me between music and film. So that was it's still something I'm interested in. And that is a synthesis of sorts.
Ecco, quando penso a te come musicista, penso a qualcuno a cui piace fondere tecnologia e natura, computer e esseri umani. Come posso fargli capire?
Yeah, no, I like that, because I think sometimes when you put opposites together, you get interesting tension and energy to come out of things. So for me, that's always a source of inspiration, and this idea of handmade and high tech together has been something that's attracted me for a long time. So I like the capacity that electronic and computer facilities will give you. At the same time, I love some of the colors and emotions that real human performance will provide. So I feel as a solo artist, I'm lucky enough I can grab a bit of both.
È Up un pop album?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't sit that happily as pop. It doesn't sit that happily as rock.
A high sense of the pop word.
But I don't know. Labels are things you use to sell stuff by, really. So it's more important to me that the music has some heart. But I think, yes, some of the traditions are pop traditions in some ways.
Because, for me, pop...
Perché quando dico pop,
I'm not...
non intendo certo Britney Spears, ma i Beatles.
Are you still interested?
Sei ancora interessato al pop?
Yeah, well, I don't listen to what's in the charts so much nowadays, but, occasionally my daughters will keep me informed. Or
What's the music?
Qual è la roba che ascolta tua figlia?
I guess it's more sort of hipper alternative things that they like. Quite a lot of sort of songwriter stuff. They both like to dance, so they like some dance music too. So it's a bit of a mix.
But did you try
Hai fatto esperimenti anche con i tuoi figli?
Yeah, a little bit when they were young, but now my 11-month-old son, you know, there's one track from the Chemical Brothers that he's obsessed by. But he seems to like a lot of music. It's very clear when he likes it and when he doesn't, because he starts dancing and he stands up and really gets into
Tu studi?
Do you study?
No, I'm lazy. I've always been lazy. So I'm not a good musician. You know, I can't do a lot of technical things, but I'm a composer first, I think, so I can sort of struggle through what I need. But then sometimes when you get new pieces of equipment and you have to play, I think there's some study inevitably, but in a traditional sense, do I practice? No.
Cioè, fammi capire, tu non studi nemmeno i manuali di istruzione?
Instruction manuals.
No, we used to have, when the samplers first came out, this for me was a revolution. And at the time, it sounds incredible now, but people weren't interested, and they thought $10,000 is what it cost for the Fairlight synthesizer in the beginning, and no one had spent more than $3,000 up to then on a keyboard, electronic keyboard. So that was a bit of a culture shock. And the guy who invented it ended up on a sort of Carly Simon session, which was sort of the wrong place to go. And then Larry Fast introduced him to me. I got so excited, and I got my cousin, who was out of work at the time, you know, to try and get these the contract for the European distribution, which we had for Fairlight and Synclavier. And so he was running this shop for a while. But we used to deal with different musicians and composers, and often when equipment came in with a problem, there was a code there called RFM, which is read the manual. So, but I don't practice it. I'm the last person to read the manual. When I'm really desperate, I read the manual. But if it was all in pictures, and sometimes, you know, you get it on CD-ROM now, and it's easier for me.
During the 10 years from As to Up.
Nei 10 anni trascorsi tra As e Up, quali sono le cose che ti hanno attratto? Ovviamente eccetto la musica.
Well, there's a few different things. I mean, I always like sort of brainstorming sessions with interesting people, and we'd have some of these on this Experience Park idea, which was for Barcelona originally, and then...
That's the one with Brian Eno and Laurie Anderson.
Laurie Anderson. And then with Robert Lepage, who's a theatre and filmmaker from Quebec, we were working on a show called Zulu Time, which he started, and it's an arts and science cabaret. It's played in Canada and Quebec and Montreal. We had it all set up in New York, but because in the show there is a terrorist bomb on an airplane, and we were about to open on September the 10th, it was taken out, obviously.
E il progetto Experience Park ancora vivo?
Not really, but I think it feeds the work, and I'm still interested to pursue it a little bit. So
Effettivamente era molto interessante.
I think so, and I think eventually there will be something like that. Whether it's our project or not, I don't know.
It's a shame it's
È un
only...
peccato che rimanga solo allo stadio di idea.
But I was thinking of different ways to begin it on a small scale. And one project I have is to look at doing it on a small railway, but just as one ride. But you take an existing railway and you transform it. But this I haven't yet done, but so it's not completely dead. But
The new science fiction.
La nuova fantascienza è fondamentalmente basata sulla paura che la tecnologia, portata a livelli estremi, possa essere devastante e terrificante. Credi siano esagerazioni o pensi ci siano dei rischi reali? Hai presente Matrix o visioni del genere?
some real risks. I mean, I have a friend who's much smarter than I am, who started Sun Computers called Bill Joy, and he wrote a series of articles about having had a hand in creating something that might destroy us in the end, because there is the potential, I think, with artificial intelligence, that we will create things, entities that are...
But you know, you can't stop
Ma non si può fermare la ricerca pura.
research.
You can't stop, but, for example, sometimes you can... I mean, I agree, you can't turn back the clock, but sometimes, as with chemical weapons, you can maybe control them a little bit. I mean, you know, some things in human history, slavery is not completely gone, but it's very much smaller today than it used to be. And same with technology. I think sometimes you can, or maybe flame would be a better example, because fire, you can burn down any building, but you can also use it to fire a motor car or an aeroplane, and heat a house. So I think technology is like that. It is a power, and you can use it for people or against people.
Yeah, the problem is
Il
that
problema è che chi investe soldi nella ricerca è l'industria bellica.
war business.
Sure, yeah, and I think, I mean, that's, you know, we have this Operation Witness, for example, which gives cameras to human rights groups, and that is a little like saying, there's a big brother, you know, looking at all of us, and here we are, we turn the camera around, and now we can look at them and keep an eye on them and check what they do, you know, so that I think the same applies with the technology, that this generation needs to grab the technology and say, let us own it, let us make it work for us, and not just for those in power.
Both in Darkness, the first song of the new album,
Sia
and
in
I remember
Darkness,
Digging in
la
the
prima
Dirt,
canzone del tuo nuovo album, che in Digging in the Dirt
peculiar
utilizzi
words,
parole, luoghi, simboli tipici della psicoanalisi. Tu fai ancora affidamento al potere della psicanalisi?
Psychoanalysis.
I don't know that I ever trusted it completely, but I just thought there was a lot of useful information.
You practice.
L'hai praticata?
I did for about 6 years. I'm not doing therapy now, but it was very helpful.
E hai risolto i tuoi problemi?
I'm a lot happier now. And so I think I am more in control of my life than I was before.
So I
Forse
think
devo farla anch'io.
Well, no, you know, I think if you feel the need, I would say if you don't feel it, the need desperately, then you probably don't need it.
So, last question. In Italia i maggiori acquirenti di dischi sono adolescenti.
Yeah.
I think
Or they used to be.
they used to be.
Now they copy.
So what are kids?
Chissà da che cosa sono attratti.
And
Pensi che i ragazzi oggi possano avere delle buone ragioni per interessarsi alla musica di Peter Gabriel?
Who knows? I think it's important for each generation to have their own identity, and that was expressed through music, through clothes, through books, through yeah, all sorts of stuff. So I think that, you know, if I was young now, I would want to find people my age first. But then maybe, you know, if I was bored one evening, you might find some old fart who was doing something interesting. So I wouldn't rule it out, but it's probably not number one priority.
so thank you very much.
Grazie mille, Peter. È stato veramente un grande piacere.
Thank you.